on a day-to-day basis, how many pieces of content are you putting on YouTube when it comes to long form shorts? How you
Okay. So,
parsing that
so
out?
before, so before I even get to that,
Yeah.
you have to study the platform.
Yep.
Okay. So what is YouTube? First, YouTube is the largest video platform in the world. They're
Mm-hmm.
bigger than Netflix. Okay. They are, they exist, but here's the deal. YouTube is not a video platform. Somebody's like, what the hell are you talking about? YouTube is an ad network. YouTube is the largest ad sales team in the world. So they are. YouTube goes out, locks up the money, places the ads on their platform. People like me place the content. We enroll into their program. They do a 55-45 split. And so as your views go up, your CPM goes up, your revenue goes up. They are an ad platform, which now means I need to understand their ad platform. So when we started, people like Roland, man, look, y'all doing these whole shows. It's short. Young people, they care about short. I said, I don't give a shit about young people. What is wrong with you? The linear television business is all about 25-54, 25-54, 25-54. That's who the advertisers. When I was at TV1, we would be in meetings and they would be going 25-54, 25-54. And I would go, do y'all care about the people 55 and older?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, no. I said, I'm sorry. That's who's subscribing to TV1. You better give a shit, because if they drop cable, you lose subscribers, because there are two revenues in cable news: subscription fees and ad fees. They kept focusing on trying to do content to appeal to 25-54 as if the subscribers didn't matter. Why is digital so different? Digital don't give a shit. Every eyeball counts. So whether you are 65, 55, 45, 18, they all count. Now the CPM may be different, the ad is maybe different, but the reality is a view is a view, a dollar is a dollar. So my deal is, if you are sitting here fixated, so when I look at my numbers, if I pull up my numbers right now, if I look at the last 28-day average, the analytics, and I go over here, go down to audience, 3.5 million returning viewers, 4.6 million unique viewers. Here's the age. Age 13 to 17, 0%. 18 to 24, 1%. 25-34, 4.1%. 45 to 54, 20, no, I'm sorry, 25-34, 4.1%. 35-44, 10.5%. 45 to 54, 20.9%. 55 to 64, 30%. 65 plus, 33%. So that means 45 to 65 plus accounts for 81%, 82% of all the folk who are watching my channel. Now,
Ooh.
somebody might say, hey, man, like 45 to 65 plus? Yeah. How do you think then we did 30 million views? The numbers are the numbers. So here's the next piece. Short. This is to take out YouTube Shorts. This is before YouTube Shorts.
Mm-hmm.
No. YouTube was doing interviews where they were saying we're increasing long. We're encouraging content creators to go long. You might say, I don't understand. But if people are like, I want to see short content, why are they doing it? Because YouTube could put more ads in a 10-minute video than they can in a 60-second video. You can have a pre-roll, you can have your video, you can drop a spot, you can have 3 minutes of video, drop another spot, have 3 minutes of video, drop another spot, finish a video out, and put an ad on the end. That's 4 ads in a 10-minute video. So here's what we did. We understood that. So when I launched the show, we were an hour show. Now, you're going to get your views for the hour show, but that's not where you're going to get your maximum views. Because you do the television show and you're segmented, we can now break that hour up into, this ain't no different than a 5-course meal. I can break this hour into 4 or 5 segments, depending upon the content. Now I can load that. So that 1 hour show could produce for me 400,000 views when the viewing of the 1 hour show generated me 50,000 views. It's understanding the platform. Now, when we used to post the content, and when you reach a certain number of subscribers and views, YouTube assigns you your own person. Well, but all information I'm about to tell you right now is on the app. YouTube literally tells you how to maximize their program. So when you go to my channel, look at the thumbnails. Thumbnails are important. What is a thumbnail? A thumbnail is no different than a book cover. This is my book, White Fear. White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. Okay? It is a 150 some odd page book. I ain't reading 150 pages unless this interests me. Same as a newspaper headline. It's the same thing. So if your thumbnails are not interesting, YouTube makes it clear. People read the thumbnail, then they click the video. So the thumbnail has to be engaging, interesting, provocative to capture somebody's attention. So again, it's study. They have it all right there. YouTube drops every day. Here are all of the hot topics on YouTube. If I now have video, that's a part of that. It now slides into the algorithm. But here's where the studying also comes in. So I remember when this probably about 4 years ago, the YouTube guy, he's since moved on. He goes, well, this is what we suggest. We suggest that with your show, by 10 a.m. the next morning, you load all your videos. Okay. Now, again, this is understanding the consumption of your audience. Okay. Now, so the reality is, he was talking about these other news channels. Most of them are white. So he said, y'all should do this here. Here's what we discovered. My black audience is different. So what we saw was when we loaded 5 videos, they were cannibalizing each other and none of them were taking off. What my digital guy discovered is when we loaded one video, we tracked it for 4 hours. We saw how that thing was building. If that video is popping, we don't drop another one. We let that sucker pop and then drop video 2. I might do a show on Monday. We may not drop some of the clips from Monday until Wednesday because we allow that thing to build and percolate, because videos get shared, it gets recommended when it gets into the algorithm flow, because what the YouTube algorithm says is, oh, this video is doing, like if I sit here and click, not views, if I click my dashboard and I click, I actually go to audience and I go content, it'll say, okay, new viewers, it'll show you things along those lines. It'll give you a sense of how a video is doing. Oh, this video is doing 80% better than normally does. When YouTube algorithm sees that, it starts recommending. So you have to study your channel. You have to study how your audience moves and flows. That's why having somebody, and if you can't hire somebody, you really have to learn yourself. You just can't just load. You got to go into the dashboard. You got to study. Somebody said he's not referring to shorts yet. When YouTube shorts started, they were 60 seconds. YouTube then increased shorts to 3 minutes. So guess what? If you put a clip up right now that's 2.5 minutes, YouTube algorithm sees that as a short. Why does that matter? You getting screwed with the money. So let me go back to revenue.
Yep.
Let me go back to revenue. Let me pull up the YouTube dashboard. Let's look at revenue. Revenue breakdown. Watch page ads. Y'all listen to me. Watch page ads account in the last 28 days account for 83.3% of the revenue. Memberships account for 16% of the revenue. Supers and gifts account for 0.4% of the revenue. Short feed ads at the bottom, 0.3%. If we go to video performance, last 28 days, estimated revenue, video performances, this says is 184. You know how much the short performance was? $1,600. So I am not about to invest a shitload of time making this really great YouTube short when they make any money. But why do shorts matter? I was at the NBA All-Star game last year. I met the CEO of YouTube. This is what he told me. He said, although YouTube shorts is not right now a massive revenue generator, it drives subscribers. I was like, okay, all right. So with my digital guy, we had to study, all right, what videos we post. That's why what we do, we don't post any video less than 8 minutes because we don't want to fall into the short category. Okay. That's one of the things that we do. It's just, it's studying the channel, studying the ebb and flow. But here's the other thing. People fixate, because we're at, what are we at? We at 1,787,190 subscribers. So it's like, oh my God, they've had great subscribers. Oh my God, things amazing. Okay, I get it, but I ain't getting that excited. Here's why. Let me go back to the audience. Okay, y'all about to trip out. Watch time from subscribers. Now, it's changed. So it says the people who subscribe to my channel the last 28 days, they watched 53.8% of the videos. Not subscribed is 46.1%. Before the last 6 months, really before even this first quarter, the not subscribed used to be 60%. So what does that tell you? Wait a minute, hold up. Does that mean you're getting all these views and 60% of the people who are watching don't even subscribe to your channel? Yes. Which is why you can't get fixated on subscribers. You have to get fixated on the content that you're delivering, that now it's now being shared out of the ecosystem that's attracting the eyeballs of non-subscribers. When they watch, you're still getting paid. You're getting views. It's helping the CPM. So you're not all locked into that. Now you take social media. What did Nick Cannon say about Instagram? He said, I ain't posting shit on Instagram unless it's some way for me to get paid. Hey, if you all about the likes, that's great. The social media for me are nothing but marketing vehicles. And so when we post on Facebook, has the YouTube link. We post on Instagram, has a link in the bio. We post on the other TikTok, all the platforms, we're like YouTube, 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 YouTube. I want you going to YouTube. Somebody hit me up, they said, Roland, should I watch your show on your app or should I watch it on YouTube? Take your ass to YouTube. Why? The app, even though I've got almost 200,000 subscribers, downloads on my app is not making me money. Why am I spending $150,000 a year on my app? Because it's to protect if YouTube, Facebook, or any platform says, we're not going to run that. Not a problem. I got my own. But you have to study YouTube and study how these things work and not just post something and then go, I don't know why, man, I got 38 views. Look at your thumbnail. Look at the link to the video. Why are you not breaking that show up? Your 38-minute video, why aren't you cutting that up and breaking it down into this really interesting 8 to 10 minute, 12-minute segment that pops? That may generate more views than anything else.
Roland, you are killing us over here. We're loving this. Giselle has a question. Giselle, go off.
Hi, thank you so much. This is amazing. My question is this. How do you think through your posting schedule?
The posting, so typically we follow, again, we'll post clips from the show. So first of all, when I'm live, so let me even explain how we do that. So we believe in aggregation. We also believe in audience conversation. So I'm live 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. We will restream my show. This is really important. 4 to 6 times in a 24-hour window, because people like to talk. See, if I watch a video, you know what I hate about, what I really hate about binge binge watching. It's just you. Okay, you and your wife, you and your husband, you and your partner. Yeah, it's just you. I sent out the first ever scandal tweet. Okay. I sent the first ever scandal tweet at the scandalversary, April 5th. And what happened? We were watching it together. I mean, we were commenting, we were going back and forth. So I love the engagement. When we started streaming, we said YouTube used to have the live chat that was automatically open. Then people were complaining that all the kind of crazy racists. So they closed it where it had to be manual. Why do we always open it? Because the people who are watching, they want to talk, they want to comment. So it created it created a community from 6 to 8. It's a whole different community at 10 p.m. It's a whole different community at 2 a.m. Hey, glad to see you back, sis. They literally are talking to each other. So so that's how we do that. Now, when it comes to the clips, we post 10 a.m., 11 a.m., typically 11 a.m. Eastern the next morning, okay? Because what we're looking at is what's the rhythm of your audience. It's all about the rhythm of your page, not the rhythm of Mr. Beast, not the rhythm of King Bach. What's the rhythm of your page? When is your audience looking at it? When you post, you could literally look at in that hour, you can look at how a video is doing. You can sit here and go, okay, all right, like real time. All right, yo, this video, like I'm sitting here real time, last 48 hours, 1.47 million views, and it shows me the top 5. It's showing me the top 5. Systematic attack on this, Jasmine Crockett. So I'm seeing this, so you can track it by hour. You can sit here and go, oh man, that thing is doing 1100 in an hour. I did a couple of videos 2 weeks ago where I hit Fox News hard. Guess what? That used to blow up. They really didn't move. So it's like, yo, we ain't emphasizing that. So you're watching your channel. You're watching, okay, how many, where's the peak? You can look per hour. Okay, you know what? They jump on this thing from 1 to 4 p.m. Well, guess what? I'm gonna start putting my stuff at noon and give my people time to really start watching it. So you have to just study your channel, the rhythm of your channel. And again, our YouTube guy was blown away because he was telling us upload all of our clips, and we were like, say, bruh, that don't work with our people. So it's all a matter of the success of your own particular channel.
Yeah, like for mine, I know that I need to post mine between 8 and 9 a.m. Pacific during the weekday. Saturdays are going to be terrible, but sometimes they're good for certain types of content. And the rest of it is, and I know that my limit is going to be for me, is going to be 1 video per day. It is not going to do if I try to do more than 1. But like I said, you, Roland, my brother, you all can put up 3, 4 long form videos a day and get it, because you're talking about specifically, he's talking about like scandalous interviews. You're talking about, well, not all scandalous, obviously, but you're talking about news, and news is fast right now in this country.
Well, you take Midas Touch is the #1 podcast. Midas Touch does 350 million views a month. They drop 12 videos a day. So their strategy is rapid response. So something happens in this congressional hearing, they are going live, and their audience is really locked in, and they want to hear them right now. We don't do rapid response. Now we've been testing it. So for instance, everything we do is normally from the show. So my digital guy, he says, hey man, let's try this one. So one day it was something I forgot happened. So I just recorded a 12-minute video outside of the show, and it did about 175,000 views. Okay, and we were like, cool. So then it was like, all right, so why don't we do this 3 times a week? Let's test it. And that's the other thing. You can test stuff and the shit don't work. You just stop doing it.
We talk about experimentation all the time. And what I would love to see, I would love to see your response, Roland. I would love to see a 12-minute rant from you about a particular topic of the day, going hard.
So here's one of the reasons why why I don't.
Okay.
Because what then happens, so again, this is where your personal, what is your personal rhythm? So there's a rhythm of your page, then there's your personal rhythm. So I've discovered when people start calling me and texting me at 8 a.m. First of all, I typically stay up till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You call me at 2 a.m., I'm like, yo, what up? I'm wide ass awake.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not waking up till 10, 10:30, 11, 11:15. Now, why is that? My
11:15.
show's at 6. My
Okay.
show's at 11:15
Yeah.
Eastern. My
Yeah.
show's at 6 p.m. Okay. I get done 8, 8:30. I may be at the office another 30 minutes to an hour. I get home is 10, 10:30. It takes me 4 to 5 hours to wind down. Now, here's the other thing. I on days when folk are hitting me up and calling me and I am engaged in the news of the day from 9 a.m. to noon, I'm completely different at 6 because I'm spent.
Mm-hmm.
I have been talking, we've been doing this sort of stuff. So now when 6 hits, my energy is lower, my intensity is lower. That impacts my content.
Mm-hmm.
So Trump, this was last month. He was some dumbass news conference he was on, and sponsors like,
Great.
"Are you watching this?" Nope. What do you mean? I'm not watching this. I'm like, it's 11 o'clock. I'll be live at 6. I'll see the clips before by the time I go on the air. So for me, I go through my day. So what normally is I get up, I will spend an hour after I wake up, just going through social media, looking at what people talking about, what's the news of the day. Then I'll get up, I'll get cleaned up, I'll come downstairs, do my vitamin regimen, come downstairs, get dressed, go record my radio commentaries, then go walk for 3.5 miles in my gym, and then may go to the post office. So I do all of my things. The goal is to leave my house no later than 4:45. We drive to the studio. I walk in at 5:50, 5:55. I sit down, mic myself up. I'm ready to go at 6. What I am trying to do at 6, from 6 to 8 or 6 to 8:30, I am trying to give maximum energy. I want those segments to pop. I want when folks are like, when one woman came to me, oh my God, Roland, I'm so concerned. I'm so like you're just going, almost get you on a heart attack. I was like, first of all, I need you to breathe. I said, baby, I'm not. I told her, I said, first, there ain't some shit you tell somebody, but I said, I need you to relax. I said, I am
Where's the
not,
baby? Go
huh?
ahead. Go ahead, Roland. Go ahead,
Oh,
Roland.
no, but I am not consumed with this for 8 hours and then I go live. So you
Ah,
have to
you
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 have
have a
to
craft. You've crafted it like you are
yes.
a Rachel Maddow, or she's like you, one of the two, right? It's like you are creating the whole
No, it's
thing,
like
or
an athlete.
John Stewart, or
It's
John
an
Stewart. Yes,
it's
like
an
it's a
athlete. No, it's an
100%.
athlete.
I
Hold on.
agree.
Take out television. It's sports. Jerry Rice before a game, he had a very clear regiment during the whole week. When he arrives at the stadium, how he puts his uniform on, how he goes through his warm-ups, how he then, same thing, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan would go into the locker room, put his headphones on. Michael would visualize the 48-minute game. He would visualize his spots on the court. He would visualize what's going to happen when this happens. So, again, go back to visualization. When the game plays out, he's already visualized his spots, what he's going to do. So for me, if I am expending energy, if I'm spending mental energy watching that people are calling and responding and we talking or whatever, now it's not fresh.
Now it's diluted.
Now,
Diluted.
right. So now I've already gone. So now when I then when it's showtime, see if I'm on the phone, this shit ain't showtime. I'm just talking to you. When it's showtime, it's 5, 6, 7, 8,000, 10,000. I got to deliver that because me talking to you on the phone ain't monetizing shit. So you have to establish your personal rhythm And I'm telling you, I know people may say like, damn, like but it's your personal
No,
rhythm that maintains your sanity, that allows for you to be at peak performance when it counts.
love it. Love every second of it. I'm going to make sure we get to our three final questions. Melissa,
Thanks a lot. It's been really great. Thanks. Hi, Roland. I've
Happening.
been a fan for a long time. The question I have is like, what's one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're trying to grow their channel and it's geared towards like a multicultural audience or Black audience? What's the mistake?
Okay, first, this like literally, I just had this conversation yesterday, and I was like, "Who y'all talking to? Who are you talking to? You have to be. There are a shitload of podcasts. There are a shitload of YouTube channels. Is people who got YouTube channels who don't even have media? They're just talking. So now you have to be real clear. Who am I talking to? Am I talking to Black people? Am I talking to Black men and Black women? What group of Black men and Black women am I talking to? Am I what economic? See, I got to be clear on who my audience is. I know. Listen, I've been places, and the guy was like, "Dog, we gotta go. Why are you going to take that picture?" I was like, "That's a Black mama. What you talking about?" I said, "Fool, Black mamas watch. Black mamas make their kids watch. They kids got kids. Now the grandkids watching." I said, "Are you now understanding? Me going to take that picture with that Black mama or that Black grandmama is a multi-generational photo." He was like, "Damn, it's that deep?" Yes, fool, it's that deep, because that's audience cultivation. So you have to be clear, who am I talking to and what am I talking to them about? If you're trying to talk about business and romance and this, you like all over the place. No, 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 no. I want my lane. But any musician would say, "Man, we in the pocket. We in the pocket." The musician phrase of being in the pocket is the same as I'm hitting my sweet spot in terms of my audience. So it's really focused. And I say, A. Lewis Patterson was a preacher in Houston, God rest his soul. It was called A. Lewis Patterson 3-point principles. When you give a sermon, they ain't gonna remember 5. 3 points. So for me, what are your top 3 issues in terms of for your audience? What are the things? So when somebody says, "Roland, you talk about sports? No. Entertainment? No. What do you focus on?" News, politics, culture. News, politics, culture. Now, there are other things that I do talk about. Dominant, news, politics, culture. News, politics, culture. And then so you take my one-on-one entertainment interviews. Those don't do big numbers. When I go to LA, rent an Airbnb for a week, we live there, we set up in there, my crew's there. I might leave LA with 6 to 8 or 10. We've done this in LA, Atlanta, New York. I might leave with 10 interviews. Now you say, "Okay, but they knew big numbers." Yeah, you're right. But guess what? If I spend $30,000 that week on 10 interviews, that means that's a $3,000 per interview cost. Then if I run that interview twice, that's a $1,500 per interview cost. If I run it multiple times, I now have built a library. So I spend $30,000, but now I got evergreen content. I can run that stuff for 10 years. So that 30,000 comes down to $500, $500 an interview. So again, lock and load on your audience. Shannon Sharp and I talk. I'm not gonna do Club Shay Shay interviews. One, I don't give a shit. I don't. And again, this is not shading Shannon. Shannon and I have talked. Shannon has said, "Yo, y'all want news, go see Roland." And I'm like, "Yo, I don't do those interviews." If I do entertainment interviews, mine are different. And so it's really you deciding what are the 3 areas of interest. And now let me really concentrate on hitting those 3 things to now build my audience for them to be able to gravitate to and come to. I just think too many people are trying to do way too many things and they don't do that stuff. Just look at cooking. If your ass can't bake, stop baking. If you good at this, if you can fix it, go cook that. But if you, and that's the thing that's really important. I'm telling you, it's a lot of folk just all over the place, and they're not building a rapport with their audience.
Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Roland. Exactly. You're getting a lot of love in the chat here. Shirley, what is your question?
Yes, I think so. Hi, Roland. Thank you so much for this. There's so many things, right? So many great ideas. So my question to you is, if you were running a Roland Martin Academy for people who wanted to build their business and channel on YouTube, what would be the three most important competencies and capabilities to develop? Because you've named a number of them. If I was going to focus down on focus on all the things that you said, would be the three that would monetize my channel and would build the business of my channel.
First thing, the first thing is, what are you trying to build? So what that means is, are you just trying to have fun? Are you just interested in talking? Or are you actually trying to build a business? That's two different things there. So for me, I knew I had to launch the show. I always wanted to do a network, but I can't launch a network before I first launch a show. So I launched my show September 4th, 2018. I focused on the show. Now, I was writing stuff down. I was visualizing certain things of the network. I was focused on the show. I launched the network September 4th, 2021, 3 years later. Okay. So let's take the show. Now, launching the show, I invested 350 grand of my own money. I had one sponsor. Now I'm looking at, okay, how am I trying to produce this? All right. So I could have produced, matter of fact, when we had a meeting, we had not found a studio space yet. And so we had a meeting at my house. It was I don't know, 6,000-7,000 square foot house. So we're on the bottom level and I have a studio like the one I'm in right now. This is a 9-foot green screen behind me, 7 lights here, camera, teleprompter, all that sort of stuff. And the production guy who had done streaming before, I was going over the stuff. I had a switch of green screen stuff. He went, "You literally have this entire thing, front of the camera and behind the camera, in your head." I said, "Yep." I said, because if somebody tells me we can't do it, I'm like, "You lying, we can do it." I understood the functionality of behind the scenes. Go back to my communications high school. I learned behind the scenes first. I never wanted to be in front of the camera because the power was always behind the camera. Okay. So you have to understand, like, what am I trying to do? I did not want to do the show from my house because I wanted to have multiple guests. Remember, right here, I said, I have never called my show a podcast. There's a reason for that. It is a digital TV show. Now you might ask, okay, I don't understand. Because when you started, people are watching here. They're watching 720p on here on iPads. Guess what YouTube has said in the last 2 years? The usage of folk watching YouTube on television has exploded.
Yeah.
I studied the business. I understood what we are talking on is 16:9. Why do I hate when people shoot videos like this? Because when you post the videos, it's black bars over here, black bars over here. Now I got to go in and put a screen behind it, but it still looks. I literally, somebody was shooting something. What the hell we were? I think it was some red carpet deal, and the fan was shooting like this here. I literally walked over. I turned their phone that way. I was like, shoot vertical, shoot. I said, shoot horizontal. So I'm thinking that way. I'm thinking I want people watching me on television. So now I got to be thinking 16:9. Now I'm thinking about how I want this thing to look. I don't want somebody going, "Oh man, he at the crib, he in the garage." No, I want them to go, "Yo, I'm watching a TV show." So I understood lights, background, all those different things like that. So it goes to what is the mission. Now, resources are important. So what have I been trying to tell people? And we even do this right now. Everybody can't do a studio, whole space. We had four Sony PTZ robotic cameras. We had the lights, the background, everything like that. So now StreamYard is now more ubiquitous. When we started, it wasn't. This was really before Zoom. It was before all these things took off. Okay. They weren't set up for actual production. COVID changed all of that. But we were already there. We do shows now by StreamYard. We maximize StreamYard. I can play video. I can pull in. I got a green room. So now I'm thinking about my show. Now I'm thinking about what I'm trying to do. I got an on-screen crawl. How am I using my bug? I'm looking at all these different things, but it all comes back to is, what am I trying to do? If I'm just trying to talk and just have some fun, I'm not going through all of that. But if I'm trying to build a media business, I need to look like a media company. I need to understand how this should look. I fucking hate people who stream on YouTube with Zoom and StreamYard and it's 4 boxes up the whole damn time. It drives me crazy. You need somebody switching. You need to be able to go from a 4 to a single, from a single to a 2-shot. That's television producing. Again, I have to, because I want the audience, when you are in a barbershop, or you're in a beauty salon, or you're sitting with your family, you aren't in the office, when you turn that television on and watch my show, I want you saying, I cannot tell the difference between his show and CNN. Now, I know CNN does $1 million in profit, $1 billion in profit, all of that. But my deal is I am going to be as close to what they can do with my resources as possible. But that's on the front end, me deciding how do I want to look? What is the perception of I want? That's one. You got that. Second thing is my content. What makes me me? Has somebody say, Roland, you interrupt people too much. I said, if you start lying on my show, I'm going to interrupt you. Republicans, Chris Meshler, God rest his soul, is Black conservative. Republicans say, Chris, I don't understand. I don't understand how you and Roland Martin friends, but you keep going to his show. He's like, because you motherfuckers lie. He said, he said, I don't lie. He said, if I lie, Roland gonna kick my ass. Y'all fools lie. People go, well, I don't like how you do it. One woman emailed me the other day. She said, I just think you're arrogant. She's like, that's why I stopped watching. I was like, it's okay, boo. I said, our numbers are up 200%. We good without you. Why is that important? You may say, well, Roland, that's mean-spirited. No, here's the deal. They watch me because I'm me, because I'm authentic, because when you see me pissed, I'm actually pissed. When you see me laughing and joking or whatever, I'm going to do me. The problem with so many people, and I see it on television, they ain't them. You're watching and you're like, that's a robot. That's plastic man. That's plastic woman. No, they're watching you. It's your show. What makes you, you? Somebody comes to you and they say, well, Shirley, you should be discussing this. I don't care about that shit. I ain't discussing it. I'm very clear. I can't stand housewives shows. I hate reality shows. They will not be guests on my network. It ain't gonna happen. I would allow them on TV1 show because I am conscious of what I'm sending out to the audience. So you have to be your true, authentic self. Number 3, and I've said it numerous times, if you're trying to build a business, know the business. And when I say know the business, know everything about the business. Now, I know everybody can't do that, but I think you have to make that particular effort. When we launched the show, again, I took $350,000 of my own money. I was buying my own equipment when I was at CNN and TV1. I had one sponsor, $250,000. That only took me, we launched September, that took me through the end of December, okay? So why is that important? Because I always say this here, and y'all need to write this one down. Stop going to the Palm restaurant with Golden Corral money. Stop going to the Palm restaurant with Golden Corral money. And let me be real clear. I like the Palm restaurant, but my black ass will eat at the Golden Corral. I have no problem walking to a Golden Corral by myself or with family and friends sitting down, give me the buffet, eat, go enjoy the meal, I ain't tripping on that. When I started, people were like, oh man, them Canon C300s are fire. Yeah, they are. The body is $9,000, but the lenses is $20,000. I need 3 cameras. I need 3 cameras. So when I go do a one-on-one interview, I got 3 cameras for a solo 2-shot. So guess what? I don't have 60 grand to spend on damn cameras. Okay. So what did I do? People love the DLS. Oh my God, man, they look great. They do look great. Here's the problem. They're not ENG. At that time, they didn't have autofocus. Also, if I want to shoot across the street, I got to take the lens, I'll put it on. No, I need a camera that's all encompassing. Also, you got to add the audio to it and all this sort of stuff like that. So what did I then do? I said, I need a camera that gives me close proximity to the film look. It has me 2 XLRs on it. There's an SDI out. So what did I do? I went and bought 3 Canon XA25s. They were $2,000 each. That was $6,000. With tax, it cost me about $7,500. That wasn't even the cost of one body. Now, folks, guess what? I will walk into that sucker with those 3 Canon XA25s because that's what I could afford today. They were HD. I could shoot in 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second. I was still going to give me a good look, and it all works out. Well, guess what? That was September 8th. That was September 4th, 2018. Well, we had a great 2020. So in December, for tax purposes, I bought C300. 2021, I bought 2,000 more C300s. In 2023, I bought a Canon C70. 2024, a Canon C80. So right now I have 7 cinematic cameras, but I could not afford 1 cinematic camera when I was starting. So I had to accept, remember I said about limitations. I had to accept the limitations of my money. I didn't lower my standards. What I said was, what can I get that gives me what I need right now? When I buy equipment, early on, I ain't changed. I buy multi-purpose equipment. So I got a Blackmagic monitor here. You can do a Field World or others, but guess what? This monitor, I can record in the monitor. Now I don't have to add one piece to it. Now that monitor is portable. I can take it here and here and here. I think the same with the cameras and the lights and the microphones and those different things like that. I'm sitting here. This is the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Everybody that's watching, I want y'all to, if you got Netflix, I want y'all to go to Netflix, and I want y'all to watch a movie called High Flying Bird. Let me say it again. High Flying Bird. Movie was directed by Steven Soderbergh, stars Andre Holland. Guess what? That movie was shot with 2 iPhone 7s. The entire movie. 2 iPhone 7s. If all you have right now is an iPhone, Steven Soderbergh, Oscar winner, shot a $7 million movie with 2 iPhone 7s. Didn't have cinematic, didn't have rack focus. Why am I saying that? Because I'm accepting where I am today. Where I am today with my channel is not where I want to be 3 years from now. But I got to start with what I got, and I got to maximize what I got to get to that level.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Boom.
Yeah, Liz, literally amazing.
So trust me, go watch that movie. I watch it every 3 months and I study it. I just throw in just this for everybody, just less. I watch shows and movies and stuff, but a lot of times I'll be watching and then I'm watching how it was shot. I'm like, yo, what they shoot that with? I'm like, I love how that looked. So I am a student of the craft, and I'm like, yo, we can incorporate that into what we do here. You have to, if you're gonna be in this for business, be in it. Don't play at it. Be in it.
Amazing. Our last question is going to come from Doug.
Hey, Roland. I've watched the show, and there have been times when I was crying from something that you were talking about. Other times that I was laughing, and in that moment, I want to give. Like, what's the best button to click on to like send you $25 or $10, like just to show you that I appreciate.
So let's talk. So let's talk about that. Okay, it goes back to the business. All right. So when I was starting, I was sitting here like, all right, do I want to be a for-profit or a nonprofit? For-profit or a nonprofit? I literally went down to Austin and sat with Evan Smith, who was the founding editor of the Texas Tribune. They were very successful nonprofit. I was studying different models. I decided to do a for-profit because it's actually easier to take a for-profit and go nonprofit than to go from a nonprofit to a for-profit. Okay. So then I was like, okay, all right. I said, so I want to do this here, but go back to the business. I don't want to charge people a subscription. I didn't want to do Patreon. The Substack didn't exist then, but later I didn't want to do Substack because I knew my audience could not afford that $7, $8 a month. So I started with, okay, I want my content widely available. So that's why we streamed on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We later dropped Instagram. So we still do Facebook, but that's just, we ain't making much money there, barely anything, but it serves another different purpose. I then said, okay, well, how do I get people to support? Then I went, yo, I'm going to take a PBS NPR model and bring it to the for-profit. So this is what I did. And then Shirley just asked, it's called being authentic. I said to the audience, folks, we're going to create a Bring the Funk fan club. Here's the deal. I can't afford to send you swag. If I got to send you shirts, hats, mugs, t-shirts, that costs money. The posters cost money. I said, when you give to this show, every dollar is going into the show. But I'm not charging a subscription. I then said, I want our fans to average, I said, I want you to give on average $50 each per year, which comes out to $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. I said, if you can't give that, not a problem. You can give, if you can give more, great. If you give less, it's all great. But then here's the other thing that I did. I said, for every person who gives to my show, every Friday, we are going to run all of your names. And let me tell you what happened. Black people don't play. They were freeze framing that sucker. Hey, I sent a check. My husband didn't send no check because when he sent a check, both names, they like, that should be Sandy Smith, not Sandy and Robert Smith. I'm cracking the hell up laughing. So we're fixing that whole deal. So then I said, okay, what are the pathways to give? Let's go electronic. So we did Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle. Well, last year, Cash App changed the rules on what kind of company you have. You're LLC, you can keep your account. I'm a S-Corp Inc. They had to get rid of my account, so they closed the account. But here's what was the trip. The first donation came from a Black woman, 92 years old in Long Island, New York. She sent a $500 check. And she sent a letter. I actually later put it on the show. But check this out. I wasn't doing checks and money orders. I had a publicist who had worked with me with a project. Then they hit me and it was like, yo, Ro, we need to somebody on some like nondescript website put their address down to reach me. They got like 6, 8 checks. In the next week, they got like 6, 8 checks. After the third week, they're like, Ro, we getting letters, we getting checks. I had to go open a P.O. box. Guess what? I started getting 20, 30 checks a week, checks and money orders a week. Now, mind you, this is the lesson. Stop thinking everybody embraces the digital world. I'm sitting here, so I had to go open a P.O. box, all of a sudden get it. Let me tell you what has happened in the last 6 weeks. Now I'm gonna go last 7 weeks. I go to the P.O. box with 386 checks and money orders. 4 weeks ago, there were 512 checks and money orders. I went yesterday, there are probably 350 checks and money orders. I haven't even opened those yet. Those 2 batches was $60,000 in donations. So what if I ignored the people who don't believe in Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle? They would have no way to give. So you have to broaden your view, and it ain't about you. Yes, it takes time opening an envelope, sorting it, all that sort, sign the back, mobile deposit, but that money count the same as well. So to answer your question, we have PayPal, Zelle, Venmo. You can do Cash App through Stripe. We have the QR code on the website we have there. There's a link as well. Some people give via YouTube, but the way you can give direct is through Cash App, through Stripe, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, and also check money order. So somebody says Apple Pay. I think with Apple Pay, you can do that through Stripe. So Stripe is the conduit. People for credit cards, You can use Stripe as well. You go to blackstarnetwork.com or rolandsmartin.com, all the ways to give, they're on the website.
And they're also on your descriptions of your videos, right?
Right. So what we do is, and again, this is for everybody with a channel, it's understanding. Understand, folks, all these forms are essentially tipping. It's what Doug just said. Doug was like, man, I'm laughing, I'm crying. You know what? Doug essentially saying, I just want a tip. I want to give something. Ain't no different than church. You preach and somebody walk up, put the money on the altar, go back and sit down. You're not forcing somebody to do it. You're not making somebody do it. What you have to do, though, is provide them the conduit to actually give. So we run a scroll. We run a crawl on the show. During the show, I might take, in 2-hour show, I might take 8 breaks. Every other break, I do a personal appeal where I say, you can give this way. There are other times when I'll actually read cards and letters people have sent us on the air as well. All of this is important because those donations, let me tell you right now, those donations saved our ass in 2019, 2020, 2021. The ad agencies are not supporting black-owned media. They're not. My donors, I think if we're approaching my fan base, 35,000 people have given a donation to this show in 6.5 years, and it's approaching $4 million in donations. Now, the reason that's a trip, I've had people try to get me to crowdfund, and Start Engine has called me, Republicans called me. The reality is that is crowdfunding. I'm just not doing it through a vehicle, and I'm not dealing with equity in shares or whatever the heck. So it goes back to, I forgot, it was Melissa. Go back to Melissa. When you know your audience, and when you appeal to your audience, and when you, Tom Jonah always said this as well, when you super serve your audience, your audience will take care of you. Last point here, this is also what I do. I'm transparent. I'll sit here and say, this actually happened live. We have a live view. A live view, top of the line streaming equipment. The top one is a LU800. If you go out and you see these people live stream, these networks, local stations, you're going to see a blue and orange backpack, and it's going to say LU800. That is the top of the line one. You can actually plug up 4 cameras to that, and you can feed all 4 cameras back to the station. All right? We have 2 of them. Now, those 2 live views and the rack mount unit, all it's required, it's about $80,000. So when I went on the air, I was like, yo, this is what we're looking to do, because we started with the LU200, we built up to that. Well, LiveView also has an app called LU Smart. So basically it's like Skype, so you can connect to our LiveView via this particular app. Well, you know what? There were times when I'm somewhere and I don't have the camera in the LiveView. I went on the air and I said, okay, this LU app costs X amount of dollars a month. This is this. 65 dollars at $50 each pays for this app. We got that in 10 minutes. So why is that important? When I show the studio and I show the control room and I said the lights, first of all, everything in my studio space was done with black vendors. So I am actually doing what I'm saying on the show. So the audience is like, yo, we pay for that. When we got our Sprinter, we called the Roll-Mobile, folks loved it. When it got total in 2022, leaving Essence, people were hurt because what happened, so then it was like, yo, I'm giving for the new mobile. It's gonna be done by the end of this month. When it gets here, we're gonna actually do the show from the vehicle, because people are like, yo, we made that happen. So the transparency is people are like, yo, we in this with you. So when I meet them, I'm a donor, going to the airport, love your show, I subscribe, I give, they're proud of it. I can't tell y'all, I cannot tell y'all, and I get emotional every time I talk about it, I literally cannot explain to you what it's like to travel the country and you're just somewhere and somebody will walk up to you to shake your hand and they will put the money in your hand, squeeze your hand. I'm in Chicago. We had finished the show. We're getting something to eat and drink. It was a patio bar. I see this dude. He parks, gets out of his car. He walks across the street. He walks up, he says, I wanted to personally hand you my donation. Gave me $50. I said, well, brother, what's your name? No, we ain't put my name on the list. Turned around, and back in his car, left. I've had people, it was a black woman, older sister, in Atlanta. She was being pushed in a wheelchair. I'm getting my bag. She's like, Roland Martin, she said, hold up. She said, this is all the money I have to give. She had a dollar bill folded up into a bird. I saw the picture the other day. And when I took a picture, I posted on social media. Her $1 is the same as the black woman last month. I don't even know the woman black. Had somebody from New Hampshire sent me 10 $1,000 cashier's check because she couldn't get one $10,000 cashier's check. She mailed them. Why am I saying all of that? Because to Melissa's point, when your audience is like, yo, we rock with you, we rock with you. Or other people use, I'm gonna close it out with this here. It wasn't money, but we talk about passion. I'm at MGM National Harbor, Maryland. And here, my God, here's what was amazing. I was leaving the Radio 1 Christmas party the day after they canceled my show. So I'm leaving the party. All right. I'm leaving. Brother's like, yo, Barton, man, I fucks with you. Yo, we in a casino. I was like, all right, bro, all right. He's like, no. You can ask my girl. I fucks with you. I like, brother, I appreciate that. He goes, anybody fucks with you, I got you. I was like, now that's happened multiple times. So I go, appreciate that. He's like, I don't think you understand. So my man reaches down. I'm like, he is not about to pull out a gun. My man reaches down and he pulls his shirt up. What I see, I see scar tissue on this side and this side, and I see a line from here all the way down to his navel. My man's chest had been cracked. My man had been shot. He went, anybody fucks with you, I got you. That is what it means when you connect with your audience.
Just like any television, like you have to give that a moment to settle. Wow.
Yo,
Oh.
that blew. I mean, that blew. That has happened. I can't even tell you how many times. I mean, there are numerous times I've cried. You don't know the feeling when somebody's like, when brother in Atlanta, the airport, walked up to me, took his hand out. He went, thank you. And I said, appreciate it, bro. He went, no. Thank you. And walked off.
I thankfully do know that feeling. And there's nothing like it. It will never be taken for granted. No matter what happens in life. That moment never gets taken for granted. And that's something that you can build up to.
But that's who watches. That's who's giving. That's why, and I'm not dissing people who are younger, but the reality is, them folk who are 45 plus, they got money. They are supporting, they're giving, they're watching. That's why I'm always saying we can't overlook people. Every Friday, y'all understand that video started, that shit was about 30 seconds. When we run that, we had to shrink the tape, speed that sucker up. That video now is almost 10 minutes. And here's the deal.
People's names, of people's
if
names.
you only, and here's my rule. I don't do here are donors this month. Here are donors this year. No. If you gave to my show one time, your name remains on that list. And we just, every gift that comes in, we add to it. And it is my way of honoring those folks every Friday. And at the end of every Friday show, And I think a couple times it was crazy stuff and we didn't show it. Oh, I was like, yo, I hit my man Keenan. I said, yo, add that in the edit for the restream. But every Friday, I show respect to the 35,000 people who said, we fucks with you. And that's that. It's a monument, whatever you want to call it. But that's one of those things that no one asked me to do that. Nobody else does that. That was my decision, but it was my way of saying, I can't send you swag. We can't afford to do all of that. But I'm gonna show you some love and we do it every single Friday to close the week out.
Roland, I want to thank you for all of this time, not just your time, but all of this deep insight, this unforgettable insight. I know that the rest of the group agrees with me. You're getting some love in the chat there. People who are watching on the replay, people who will watch maybe a version of this on YouTube, will see what we can do. Just the fact that you poured into this group the way you have, and that you come to everything that you do with such class and such energy and such reverence for your audience. I think that it has helped to emphasize and solidify what we're working on here. And I can't wait to have those conversations afterward as well, while we dissect this conversation. Anything left you want to say, Roland, before we head out?
Yo, listen, just do it. Listen, they canceled my show December 9th, I think it was 2017. The final show was 2 weeks ago. There were a lot of people who were like, oh my God, they were upset, they were complaining. Man, we need to meet with them. And they actually had a meeting. I said, y'all, it's a waste of time. It ain't gonna happen. The day I did my final show, that hour after I finished the final show, I had a pitch meeting to a labor union. Frat brother asked me, and Lee Saunders, Alpha brother, 06. 24 hours after the meeting, Lee said, we're in. That was my only sponsor for 2 years. I laid the vision out. He understood the importance of my voice, and they were on board. Here's the thing that people, again, don't get. You got to just do it. You can't get hung up in what everybody else is saying was not going to work. I knew it was going to work. I knew it was going to be successful. I understood the mission. Folks were saying, man, I wish you go back to CNN. Nope. MSNBC, nope. It's about a brother came to me. He said, man, if they offer you $3 million to host a show, would you do it? I said, not if I can't own it and control it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the last thing is real simple. We all have egos. But the smart thing also is know when you're mission driven. And this may hit some people a different way. It doesn't matter to me if you got a problem with it. I don't live by white validation. I don't need, and there's some great folks who are white. I'm saying that because there are a lot of African Americans who are desperate for somebody white to anoint them and say, now you can do it. I don't need that.
Yeah.
Me and Tyler Perry discuss this all the time. I am perfectly fine if they don't call me. Last time I did ABC This Week was when I lit into Chris Christie, was September 2021. That shit trended for a week. They ain't had me back since. I did Bill Maher's show one time, October 2014. Ain't been back since. I'm good. I'm not sweating. Variety did a huge story on Charlemagne, and I was included in another story with Detavio at Revolt and Bob Johnson. I'm good. Yo, I'm good. None of that stuff matters to me. I don't care. Yo, man, your voice is so important. I wish you're on a bigger platform. That was a point when I had 157,000 YouTube subscribers, and I'm at 1.78 million. My goal is we're going to hit 2 million. Then we're going to hit 3 million. Then we're going to hit 4 million. Then we're going to hit 5 million. So I'm not tripping on that. I'm not tripping on we go somewhere and yo, man, network folk, they walk in with 20, 30 people, and they got all this sort of stuff. Yo, the setup that we had at the Democratic National Convention was fly. It was lit. And because of my relationships, I was right next to the VIP entrance and exit. So every VIP who came by, stopped by. What I'm trying to get you to understand is you have to believe in you. And you cannot get caught up in other folks' stuff. And so I don't sweat. Man, they should be, oh man, I don't know why these black entertainers and these black millionaires, these black billionaires ain't cutting you checks. I said, you know why it don't faze me? Because it's that brother, that sister who come up to me and say, man, I went to college because I was watching you. Brother came to me, he said, one sister said, I'm a city council member in my city because I watch you talk politics. That's all that matters to me. All the other stuff, it don't matter. You don't need me, you don't need Arlan, you don't need nobody to validate you. If God has validated you and you here and you breathing, you good. But I just want you to do it. I just want you to, the greatest, I don't want to live a life of regret. I tell people all the time, I'm 56, I'm 57 in November. Last thing I want to be is 70, 80, 90 years old going, man, I wish I had done that. I met with TV One March 2018 about signing a new deal. They kept saying, we're going to keep the money, we'll keep the money the same. And finally, I slammed my hand on the table. I said, stop fucking talking about money. What will I be doing? June 2018, my agent hits me. He was like, yo, dude, he said, this is easy money. I said, I'm not signing the deal. He's like, man, it's easy. I said, no, Mark, it's not. I said, Mark, I was 49. I said, Mark, if I don't do this right now, I am at my peak of health, energy, knowledge, and relationships with people. Those 4 things. I said, if I don't launch this now, I never will. And I don't know of anybody else in the Black space who could actually do this and make it successful. So I walked away from a 3-year contract at TV One with $330,000. CNN had ended 5 years earlier. My Tom Joyner contract started in 2008 at $250 a year. By the time Tom ended his show in December 2019, that Tom Joyner contract was $48,000. So when I walked away from that TV One check of $330,000, $27,500 a month, the only external check that I had was from Tom Joyner show, which was about $48,000, in my speaking. And I walked away from that because I said, I know this will work. I bet on myself. And that's what everybody has to do. You must bet on yourself. And if you do not believe that your personal bet can pay off, it will not work.
Thank you. Thank you, Roland. We appreciate you. Everybody get a round of applause. It's silent, but thank you so much.
And yes, I will dance. You can also out dance most of the folks out here too, Roland. Yeah, I will dance. Listen, as long as my legs work, I'm gonna use them.
Well, thank you again. Thank you for all this time and just for saying
Thanks
yes.
for the invite.
Roland,
we've been trying to do this for months, so we finally made it happen.
We haven't, but he said yes in seconds. He said yes in seconds. Not even a minute went by. He said yes. Didn't ask questions. He said yes. So thank you, and I appreciate you, and I'll text you. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Y'all be well. I gotta go. I'm live in 1 hour and 9 minutes.
We'll be watching. We'll be watching.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Continued success.
Thanks, Doug. Right? Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.